Still alive? Hope so, because I got a new gig for you. You got a clever recording of a Maelstrom initiation. Want to know more? Check what I attached.
Return to this week's shocking story. The cyber-psycho attack on Night City Mayor Lucius Ryan. The crazed assailant attacked the mayor during a press conference, but fortunately was stopped by NCPD Detective River Ward before the worst could happen. Celebrated by the press as Super Cop, today Ward was given the Medal of Merit by the mayor. What could have been a horrible tragedy may be a blessing in disguise for the mayor who seeks another term in the upcoming mayoral election. According to the latest polls in wake of the attack, Ryan's lead over his opponent Jefferson
Yokai, Japanese demons of yesterday and today. They make their homes on mountain tops, in rivers and oceans, on city streets, and on every mega building floor with the number 4 in it, even in your washing machine or info visor. Some appear in concrete places, while others simply haunt a specific person. They're there when you hear a strange noise in the middle of the desert. They're there when you feel like someone's watching you, although there's not a soul in sight. They're there when you glimpse something out of the corner of your eye, something nobody else seems to notice, but you were just at the Ripper docks for your checkup. The yokai first appeared in Japanese literature in the year 797. These mysterious beings, though closely linked to the invisible realm of the dead, have been alive in the Japanese consciousness from the very birth of animism. It's not that the Japanese believe in the yokai, they simply know that the yokai exist. In addition to phantoms, ogres, and other mysterious phenomena, the yokai also include a group of shape-shifting demons called obake, or bakemono. The bakemono are said to sometimes take the form of a faceless person, a one-eyed scarecrow, or an animal. It's said that when a cat reaches a certain age, it becomes a bakaneko. These yokai are able to walk on their 2 hind legs, speak and dance, assume human form, or even devour their owners and take their place. The bakaneko sometimes visit people in their sleep, or even wake the dead. All they have to do is hop over a corpse to bring it suddenly back to life. However, the demons are capable of much, much more. One should exercise extreme caution around a double-tailed cat. This is a nekomata, a yokai with shamanic and necromantic capabilities, able to place curses on people and control the dead. In its human form, the nekomata resembles an old woman, often one addicted to some substance or other, with an eerie, disturbing air about her. However, let me assure American readers of this book today, the most likely place you'll find a bakaneko is in the form of a lucky maneki neko figurines. After all, real cats are an even rarer sight these days than your average yokai. One could say we're living in stable times. The Fourth Corporate War is ancient history, the Unification War is over and done with, and Night City is a free city, a jewel embedded between 2 Californias. Living here, you might have the impression that everything is okay in the world. But look around. The world is not okay. Despite technological recession between 2020 and 2040, reducing global population levels, humanity is still facing monumental existential threats. Climate change has turned into climate disaster. Its effects are irreversible and dangerously unpredictable. Hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts, floods, natural catastrophes are growing in strength and frequency across the continent, leveling entire regions. Access to clean water is becoming increasingly more scarce, as well as fertile land. Hunger and starvation still reap a bloody human harvest in Asia and Africa, where corporations had no interest in building vertical hydroponic farms. Meanwhile, advances in cyber modification have given rise to a new problem, cyberpsychosis. And though we've been aware of cyberpsychosis for over half a century, and know that incidents of cyberpsychosis are inextricably linked to a person's level of implantation, we still do not know why some are more prone to carrying out violent attacks than others. Let's also not forget the more serious issue of mass inequality, record high crime rates, including in places like Night City, and social unrest linked to immigration in almost every corner of the world. So I ask you again, look around. You see all these problems in Night City already. Maybe you're standing in the shadow of a mega building and you think, Night City is Night City. The rest of the world's problems don't affect me, right? Right? The day the tower fell. In early August 2023, a single event would change the course of history. Although it fell against the bloody backdrop of the Fourth Corporate War, the global media still fed on the story for weeks. And could you blame them? A group of terrorists detonated a nuclear bomb, blowing Arasaka Tower to pieces. The terrorists' warning came too late. Not all of the tower's employees could be evacuated. The blast itself killed and wounded thousands, while countless others died from radiation sickness. How did the biggest terrorist attack in the 21st century happen? Who was behind this catastrophe? To find the answers, we'll need to first understand the context of that era. The early 2020s was a period of unrest for Night City, and anti-corporate sentiment was at an all-time high. In the epicenter of the city's lawlessness stood the Atlantis Club. It was seen as an island of resistance against the powers that be, primarily megacorporations like Militech or Biotechnica. Though a special place in hell was reserved for Arasaka, the Japanese arms manufacturing Zaibatsu that held the most influence over Night City. The kinds of people who frequented the Atlantis felt that corporations had hijacked the future and turned people into consumer slaves, and ironically, deprived of the two things capitalism loved most: freedom and choice. These people called themselves edge runners. They positioned themselves against the corporate world order. They declared their own freedom in opposition to the status quo, but deprived of any peaceful way to meaningfully change what they called the system. They reached for more radical methods of self-expression. And these people were no strangers to violence. Right. So I've never had a problem like this before. I learned members of the Maelstrom gang perceived the music from their fave band Tinnitus differently than the average listener. Those crazy uber-chromed do not describe these tunes with terms like complexity, range, and depth of sound. Those aren't quite the words I would use. Music can contain noise, but in this case, the noise does not contain music. I don't know. That's the best I can describe it. Now, I've got two leading theories on this. Theory 1. Since tinnitus only plays at Totentanz, the acoustics could be the cause. Problem. Maelstrom's a group of hyper-violent psycho scumbags. I'm not going to rust my good rep by jamming out at one of their live shows. How can I confirm my theory if I don't go check it firsthand? Theory 2. Hallucinatory agents. Maybe tinnitus has its own homebrew chemical cocktail designed to pair with their music for some whole experience. To be honest, I don't think I want to find out, because if theory number 2 is true, then I'll be risking a drug-induced nervous system meltdown for the sake of music science journalism. That really worth it, Chooms? Jesus, guys, music doesn't need to be this complicated. Caught in the maelstrom. I'm stood in the middle of the Totentanz, my knuckles white, tightly gripped an Achilles M179E rifle. It was shoved into my hands just seconds before the attack. My face, arms, and sin leather jacket soaked in the blood and brain matter of the psycho I had just shot. My contact, a 30-year-old Maelstromer with a green mohawk, patted me on the shoulder. "Man, Phil, you ain't half," he tells me appreciatively. "Took you for a... but gotta admit, you got some steel-clad after all. And don't worry about that sad scrap heap. If there ain't at least 20 bodies, you can't call it a Maelstrom party." What had already been an unsettling experience took a turn to a whole other level. The other Maelstromers continued to mock me, but I could detect a tone of approval through all the vocal distortion. My mohawked contact even proposed that they install in me one of their distinct rudimentary implants. Fortunately, they didn't have in mind their iconic optics suite, so I accepted. My popularity continued to grow. "No way you'd get the Maelstrom mug so easy," he laughs. "The tech's only for initiates. We pluck out their eyes and peel back the skin. No anesthetics. You survive, you're in." With the atmosphere now even more relaxed, I asked if the rumors had been true. "Do they accept contract killings?" My Mohawk source nodded with enthusiasm. "Oh, yeah. We make good scratch, and it's a great morale booster. You know, machines ain't bothered with a mess of feelings, and that's what we aim for. Doing hit jobs like that helps us gouge out all the gooey emotions we still got left. Recently, this one guy got all whiny and snot-nosed just because we roasted some kid. I told him, I said, "Dude, you better relive some suppressor BD and fast, or the boss man's gonna blow your head off." The gonk should have listened. As I listened to his explanations and anecdotes, I realized that amusement clearly must not be one of their blacklisted emotions. And then I couldn't help but wonder, are machines capable of laughter?